Years ago, I got lost in the woods on the way to my cottage. As I walked along familiar paths with a rifle on my shoulder, I let my mind drift back to the past, thinking about a girl I once loved. When I came around the bend, I saw the sky dazzling like a polished blue crystal. The ground also appeared tinged with blue. I froze a moment and blinked a few times. The familiar cedar forest had disappeared, and I stood in an open field of bluebell flowers, stretching as far as the eye can see. I held my breath. When did I take the wrong turn that led me to a place like this? Was there always such a field in these woods? I'd better go back now, I told myself. The scenery seemed too beautiful to be real, making me dizzy. But a light breeze blew over the endless flower field. The view was so inviting that I wanted to stay longer. I'm going to rest a bit. I sat down and wiped the sweat off my brow. Then a white figure appeared and scurried before my eyes. I sprang to my feet. The bluebell swayed as the white animal ran like a ball, rolling downhill. It was a white fox. Still a cub. I picked up my rifle and ran after him. But the fox was fast. No matter how hard I ran, I couldn't catch up. I could have shot him with the rifle, but I wanted to find the fox's den to kill the mother fox.
Oh, no.
When the cub came to a hill, he suddenly disappeared amongst the blue flowers. I stood still, feeling as if I'd lost sight of the midday moon. He managed to get away from me, I thought. But just then, I heard a strange voice behind me.
Welcome.
Surprised, I turned and found a small shop. Over the entrance was a sign in blue letters, Bluebell House, Dye Shop. Dye shop. Beneath it stood a young boy in a deep blue apron tending the shop. Well, the fox changed himself into a boy, I thought, trying to hold back my laughter. I decided to pretend to be fooled in order to catch the fox. May I rest a bit inside? I asked, putting on my best fake smile.
Please come in.
The fox in human guise smiled and ushered me inside, where 5 white birch chairs surrounded a beautiful table on the dirt floor. Nice place you've got here. I sat in one of the chairs and took off my cap. The fox made a polite bow, placing a cup of tea in front of me. Dye shop!
Thank you.
Dye shop? What do you dye here?
Anything you like. Would you like me to dye your cap?
No, certainly not. I'm not going to wear a blue cap.
Okay, I see. So how about your scarf? Oh, you don't have scarf.
I don't have
Or your socks? Trousers?
no.
Or jacket? Or jumper?
I thought, why does he want to dye my things? Maybe foxes are the same as humans. I thought, in other words, the fox wanted to do business with me. I nodded to myself. After being offered tea, I felt obliged to buy something. Just as I slipped my hand into my pocket to take out a handkerchief, the fox let out a sharp cry.
Yes. I will dye your fingers.
My fingers? You must be joking.
Well, it's a wonderful thing to dye your fingers.
The fox smiled and opened his small palms in front of me. His hands were pale, except for the thumbs and index fingers dyed blue. The fox drew his fingers together, making a diamond-shaped window, and held it in front of my eyes.
Why don't you look through?
He said. Huh?
Why don't you take a look inside? Just a peek.
I reluctantly peeked through the window, made by his fingers. I was astonished what I saw. There was a white fox inside the small window. It was a beautiful mother fox. She sat still with her tail straight up. It looked like a picture of a fox framed by the boy's fingers. What in the world? I stammered, too surprised to say anything else.
It's my mother. Bang went the shot and she was dead. It was a long time ago.
Bang, with a rifle.
Yes, with a rifle.
Oh no.
The fox dropped his hands and looked down. He continued, not realizing that he had revealed his true identity.
I just want to see my mother again, just once more. I miss her very much.
I nodded, feeling sorry for the fox.
One autumn day, like today, the bluebell in the wind said in chorus, "Why don't you dye your fingers? Make a wind with them." I picked a lot of bluebells and dyed my fingers. Then look,
The fox straightened his arms and made a window with the fingers again.
I don't feel lonely anymore because I can see my mother through this window anytime.
Moved, I nodded repeatedly. I was all alone in the world too. I know, I want a window like that.
I do it right way. Please put your thumb here.
My hands.
Yeah.
I placed my hands palm down on the table. The fox brought a dish filled with blue flower dye and a brush. He dipped the brush into the dye and began to paint my fingers. Before long, my thumbs and index fingers were tinted with the blue hue of the bluebells.
Okay, now it's done. Why don't you make a window?
I see.
Then a young girl came into view inside my small window.
Wow.
She wore a floral print dress and a straw hat with a ribbon trim. Her face looked familiar. There was a mole under her left eye. Oh, that's her! She was somebody I loved long ago, but she's lost for me forever.
See? Isn't it wonderful to dye your fingers?
The fox flashed an innocent smile. Yes, it's wonderful. I felt through my pockets for money, but I couldn't find a penny. I have no money with me, but you can have anything you want. My cap, my jacket, jumper, or socks.
Please give me your rifle.
My rifle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fox.
But when I thought of the wonderful window the fox gave me, I wanted to be generous with him.
Yeah.
Okay, it's yours.
Yeah. You.
Fox bowed, received the rifle, and gave me some Naoko mushrooms in a plastic bag.
Please put them in your miso soup tonight.
I asked the fox the way back. Then he said the cedar forest was behind the shop and that my cottage was about 200 yards into the woods. I thanked him and went around behind the shop. I found the familiar cedar forest. The autumn sun shone warmly on my path as I walked through the silent forest. I was very impressed by this discovery. I thought I knew the woods very well, but I didn't know this secret path. A splendid flower field and a friendly fox's shop. Feeling wonderful, I began to hum a tune. As I walked, I made a window with my fingers again.
Oh.
This time, a thin rain was drizzling inside the window. A familiar yard came into view. Under the veranda facing the yard, a small pair of boots lay, getting wet in the rain. Those are mine, I thought, my heart pounding. I expected my mother to appear and put away the boots. Or she would be wearing a long-sleeved apron and a white towel over her head. "Oh dear, you can't leave them like this." I would almost hear her voice in my mother's vegetable garden. A patch of shiso plants were getting soaked in the drizzle. I wondered if she would come into the yard to pick up the leaves. A soft light seeped from the house. From time to time I heard a children's laughter mixed with the music from the radio. The voices belonged to me and my sister, who was now dead. I gave a deep sigh and dropped my hands. The house I grew up in burned down and that yard doesn't exist anymore. What a wonderful window, I thought. As I walked through the woods, I thought, I want to keep this forever. And yet, what was the first thing I did when I arrived home? Out of habit, I washed my hands. When I realised what I'd done, it was too late.
Oh my God.
The blue dye on my fingers had been washed away. No matter how many times I made a window with my clean fingers, I only saw the ceiling of the cottage. The next day, I even forgot to eat the Naoko mushrooms the fox gave me. The next day I decided to go back to the fox's place to get my fingers dyed again. I made a lot of sandwiches for the fox and went into the cedar forest, but no matter how far I walked, I was still amongst the cedar trees. A flower field was nowhere in sight.
Oh.
Then I wandered through the woods for days. Whenever I heard a fox's cry, whenever I saw a white figure moving in the woods, I pricked up my ears and looked in that direction. But I never saw the fox again.
Oh.
Even now, I still make a window with my fingers, wondering if I will see something. People often tease me, saying I have an odd habit.
Whoa! Yay!